13 years ago, Melody Thompson of Cushing was at Camp Scott. She met the 3 little girls who were to become victims on the bus ride between Tulsa and Locust Grove. She remembers that they invited her to share their tent with them, but she declined when she saw how far back in the woods it sat. But the tent she chose had its own problems.
The tent that I went ahead and slept in, the back of it had been slit. The flap was gone. And I took my mother's sheet and put it up there so we wouldn't have to sleep like we were sleeping out on the ground or something between 11:30 and 12. Well, we heard people crying and screaming. Well, we hollered for help, telling them that there was something going wrong, and they just told us to shut up. There wasn't nothing wrong. So we were scared all night.
Paul Smith was sheriff of Mays County from 1980 to 1985. When he took office, he began his own investigation of the Girl Scout murders, but ran into opposition from politicians and law enforcement agencies that wanted nothing more to do with the case after the acquittal and subsequent death of Jean Leroy Hart. But Paul Smith's research led him to a far different conclusion than the original investigation.
Such as there being one man involved. That just simply isn't true. You can look at the autopsy reports. In each one of them, a man would have to have a different tool in each hand. One with a square serrated face like a hammer, and the other one with something like a pipe or a crowbar, something long.
Right.
He'd have to have one in each hand plus some rope, because one of them was tied to the point that it severed the flesh.
And they were tied differently.
Yes, one of them was tied with a half hitch, and one tied with a single overhand knot, and which would suggest to me that 2 different people who are in the habit of tying knots tie different knots, not the same man doing both. Small things, but very important.